very focused and deliberate on ensuring that whatever questions were asked were leading to ensuring that they get justice for the family of Albert Ojwang. So I want to congratulate the committee for their professionalism. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Members, you know today is a day for special business. The chairman of the committee has said, order. The chairman of the committee has said, and I see many members of that committee here because I was following the proceedings, that they just finished the interrogation of the security agencies, and he's told you what remedial action is taking place, and he'll bring a report on Tuesday to which I'll allow you to debate if you wish. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for your guidance, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very serious matter, and it is good that Parliament seized of it, Mr. Speaker, and we have faith in the Committee of National Security of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, to bring us a very detailed report on what happened, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a young man who has lost his life in a very mysterious way, Mr. Speaker, and the family is grieving. But I want to add to it, Mr. Speaker, that let us not politicize this matter. Let us leave the investigative agencies to do their work and report to this House, Mr. Speaker, and report to the country, Mr. Speaker. When one of our colleagues here abducted himself, the police did a fantastic job. They told us what happened. So, Mr. Speaker, we expect a detailed report of that nature, Mr. Speaker, from the police soon as possible, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, as people from the Fish Lake region, we are grieving, Mr. Speaker. We have lost a very young, prominent young boy, Mr. Speaker, who had a very bright future. But when I see people taking advantage of it politically, Mr. Speaker, I feel very sad, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very happy that you directed the Committee of National Security to look into this matter, and also the police and the Independent Police Oversight Authority. Mr. Speaker, I want a report as soon as possible so that we know what happened to our son as people from the South Nyanza region, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let us not politicize this matter. If you want politics, kill your son and go and mourn on your own, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members. Let's not open this. Order. Order, members. I did direct in your full view the chair of the committee to expeditiously bring facts to the House, not rumors, facts. And I followed the proceedings. Members of that committee, I salute you. You have been very, very incisive in putting questions to those police officers. And I hope and believe that on Tuesday, Tongoyo, you bring a comprehensive report, and any one of you who wants to comment, who has material to add, I'll give you an opportunity. We must move to the next business. Call out order number. You have already said that. Yes. Go to order number 8.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2024. Question to be put on that reading.
Honourable members, I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg.
Thanks to the disruption by the Minority Leader, that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024. As men of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024, be now read a third time, and I also request Honorable Catherine Omanyo, a strong member of that group, to second.
I second fully because I was involved from A to Z.
I beg to
I
second.
second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024, be now read a third time. Do I put the question? I now put the question, and I confirm that we have quorum in the House, which is that the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024, be now read a third time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 11.3A of the Constitution to provide for the protection and promotion of culture and the cultural heritage of communities and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Report on the consolidated fund services expenditures for the estimates for the financial year 2025-2026. Question to be put.
Order, member walking into the chamber, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 9, which is that this House adopts the report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the consolidated fund services for the budget estimates for financial year 2025-2026 laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 11th June 2025. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 10, the Learners with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of 2023. Second reading. Question to be put.
Order, members on their feet, take the nearest seats. Kimani, take the nearest seat. I didn't tell you to race across the floor. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that the Learners with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of 2023, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the education of learners with disabilities, for the conduct of educational institutions, for learners with disabilities, and for connected purposes.
Next.
Order number 11, the Political Parties Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2024. Second reading. Question to be put.
Order, Commissioner Faith. Take your seat. I'll now put the question at order number 11, which is that the Political Parties Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2024, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Political Parties Act, Cap 7D, and for connected purposes.
Next, Chair of Budget Committee, you have Finance, you have some papers to lay on the table.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House to Today, Thursday, the 12th of June 2025, a report on the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025.
Thank you. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the report on the finance bill has been tabled just a few seconds ago, Mr. Speaker.
Correct.
And once it is tabled, Mr. Speaker, it becomes a public document. Mr. Speaker, we want to urge the citizenry, together with members of our colleagues, to read the report, because there are 3-4 versions of finance bills in the country, Mr. Speaker, and everybody is talking about his own finance bill. Some will tell you bread is being taxed, others will tell you shoes are being taxed, others will tell you oxygen is being taxed. Mr. Speaker, the real finance bill, and it is recommendation and it is report, which they did extensive public participation, has just been tabled, Mr. Speaker, by the chairman of the Finance Committee. So I'm talking to the country at large and colleagues that please, this is the finance bill that has been brought. This is the finance bill of 2025. There is no any other finance bill, Mr. Speaker. So it is important for the public to know that from today they can collect the report from the Parliament and read it, Mr. Speaker, as the real finance bill and not the fake one that is being propagated by certain people in certain villages, Mr. Speaker.
It can't be said any better, honorable members. I want to emphasize what I've been telling you over and over. You are elected to come and legislate in this house, not at funerals. And you'll see many, many of you going to oppose non-existent clauses in the bill at funerals. But when you come to the house, you are nil by mouth. That is not how to legislate. Yes, Robert Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, the finance bill is not being tabled today. It's been around.
Yes.
What is being tabled today is the report of the committee.
Yes.
So we've been discussing the finance bill, and the public has been discussing the finance bill, so that those contents that were probably very uncomfortable for people would be removed. So I wanted to clarify that. But, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to, before the CS for Treasury comes here, you know, we have two major issues that as members of Parliament we are still, you know, waiting to get a solution to. One of them is the issue of CDF funds for this financial year. And the other issue is a decision made by a court on a matter of RMLF. It would have been important for us to get an answer so that we can be comfortable listening to the PS. Otherwise, we'll be seated here feeling bitter and listening to the the CS giving us a story. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know, is there a way we can get a response from the chair of NGCDF and also the chair of BSC on those two matters? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Robert Mbui, you have a legitimate concern, but I want to also advise you that 10 minutes before I came to the chamber, your colleagues from both sides of the House, numbering close to 100, walked to the Speaker's chamber with exactly the same concerns. And I did explain to them in very clear terms and details. And we reached an understanding that the worries that you have, since you are not in the meeting, are neither here nor there. We are okay, and you'll be okay. And if you want to order Honorable Naika, it's out of order to do what you are doing, and you are a senior in this house. So, Robert, I know the concerns are legitimate, and the process we are taking are equally satisfactory. So hold your horses on that. I am your last line of defense on all these issues, and you know that. Majority Leader, would you now look for the Minister of National Treasury and walk him into the chamber for the solemn business of this afternoon? Yes, Rosa Buyu. What is the point of order?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I like it that you said the minister, but I also want to add something. Probably you just forgot to mention it, the expert minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, take your seat. Take your seat. Order. Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I have a short communication. Honorable members, Section 40 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and the Standing Order 244C. Who is the member with his phone? Who is the member behind KJ? Honorable Gonzirai, you are one of the fathers of this house. We forgive you. Okay, order, members. Section 40 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and Standing Order 244C require the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning to make a public pronouncement on the budget policy highlights and revenue-raising measures for the national government each financial year. Pursuant to the said provisions, I will shortly interrupt the business of the House to allow the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning to make a public pronouncement on the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the national government for the year 2025-2026 and the medium term. In accordance with the standing orders, I have also designated a suitable place in the chamber for that purpose. Honourable members, as we welcome the Cabinet Secretary to the National Assembly, I wish to remind the House that today's event is largely ceremonial. No decision will be required on the speech as the supply period, which commences with the consideration of the budget estimates and concludes with the enactment of an appropriation act, is still ongoing. Having said that, honourable members, and before we proceed, I take this opportunity to acknowledge and recognize the presence of distinguished guests in the galleries of the House today, both the Speaker's Gallery and the Public Gallery. They include members of Cabinet, Principal Secretaries, Chairpersons, and Chief Executive Officers of various parastatals, senior government officials, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and development partners. Honourable members, I also wish to recognize and appreciate the presence of university student leaders and their colleagues from our universities across the country, members of Bunge la Wananchi, representatives of various youth and women groups, a group of traders representing a cross-section of our small-scale business community, including border riders who are with us today. On behalf of the National Assembly and on my own behalf, I welcome all of you to the National Assembly. Before I invite the Cabinet Secretary to make the pronouncement, I wish to remind the House that in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 244C3, the Cabinet Secretary shall be heard in total silence, without question or clarification being sought by any one of you. Honourable members, and you'll only cheer by thumping your feet, not by verbal expressions. Honourable members, I now interrupt the business of the House to allow the Cabinet Secretary to make a public pronouncement on the budget policy highlights and revenue-raising measures for the national government for the financial year 2025-2026. The Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Honorable FCPA John Mbandi Ngonga, AGH. Ngong, you are now invited to proceed. I thank you, members. Yes. No.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members of the National Assembly. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for granting me this opportunity to read budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for 2025-2026. Mr. Speaker, it is with great honor and privilege that I present to this esteemed House and the people of Kenya the budget statement for the financial year 2025-2026 budget. I make this statement in compliance with Section 40 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and the Standing Order number 241 of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, these legal provisions give life to the building constitutional requirements of good governance to which the President and certainly the National Treasury and Economic Planning remain fully committed to. Mr. Speaker, at the outset, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, for the trust he bestowed upon me by appointing me as the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning to provide leadership in economic and financial affairs of our country. I remain mindful of the aspirations and high expectations of the Kenyan people as I serve in this office. The Constitution protects realization of economic, social, and cultural rights, which includes the rights to adequate food, to adequate housing, to education, right to health, to social security, and to take part in cultural life, to water and sanitation, and also right to work. This budget, Mr. Speaker, speaks to these rights and reaffirms the priority policies and strategies aimed at stimulating economic recovery, articulated in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, otherwise known as BETTER, while highlighting the achievements over the past 2.5 years in enhancing the livelihoods of Kenyans. At its core, BETTER has adopted a value chain approach, focusing on strategic investment in areas that generate the highest impact, particularly in job creation and income generation at the grassroots level. Mr. Speaker, significant successes have been achieved through targeted intervention and structural reforms. These measures have laid a solid foundation for economic recovery and set us on a path towards long-term growth and stability. Mr. Speaker, let me mention just a few achievements under BETTER. First, the Kenyan economy has remained resilient and registered an average growth of 5.2% for the period between 2023 and 2024, outpacing both global growth of 3.3% and 3.8% for the sub-Saharan African region over the same period. Other macroeconomic fundamentals such as inflation and exchange rates have strongly rebounded and are projected to remain stable. Second, the government has rolled out fertilizer and seed subsidies to farmers across the country, and that has boosted production in key food value chains and revived underperforming or collapsed export crops such as pyrethrum. Since February 2024, Mr. Speaker, a total of 6.5 million registered farmers have benefited from the fertilizer subsidy program. And as a result of these initiatives, the cost of fertilizer has declined by 67% from Kenya shillings 7,500 in 2022 to 2,500 in 2025. While maize production has increased by 38.9% from 61.7 million bags in 2022 to 85.7 million bags in 2024. This is a clear demonstration of the positive impact of our agricultural reforms towards food security and improved household income. Third, to support livelihoods and small businesses, the government has disbursed loans amounting to over 75 billion by the end of May 2025 through the Financial Inclusion Fund, popularly known as the Hustler Fund. This initiative has provided access to affordable credit to over 26 million customers with a strong base of 9 million repeat borrowers and a repayment rate of 79%. A total of 4.5 million borrowers are eligible to be graduated to the mainstream financing institutions. And to build a culture of savings for the future, the fund has also successfully mobilized 4.5 billion in savings from its beneficiaries. Fourth, to enhance the attainment of universal health coverage, the government has expanded social health insurance. And as of May 2025, more than 22 million Kenyans were registered with the Social Health Authority, what we call SHA, representing a remarkable 175% increase in membership compared to the 8 million previously enrolled under the defunct National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF. This marks a major milestone, Mr. Speaker, in our health sector reforms and brings us closer to our goal of equitable, affordable, and accessible health care for all. Fifth, in fulfillment of the commitment to deepen home ownership and close the housing gap, the government has facilitated the construction of affordable housing units across the country. Since September 2022, 2,379 affordable housing units have been completed across 4 counties, with another 11,000 units in the last stages of completion. The units have been advertised for sale to the public through the Boma Yangu platform. And in addition, there are 148,465 units under active construction across the remaining 43 counties. As part of the program, the government is also supporting the development of institutional housing for the uniformed services and students. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, these efforts have created over 250,000 direct and indirect jobs for Kenyans. In addition, over 11 billion has been ring-fenced for Juakali and MSMEs to support local fabrication of steel doors, windows, and other construction materials. Sixth, to drive digital transformation and inclusion, the government has expanded last-mile fiber optic connectivity to 13,590 kilometers in 2025, up from 8,900 kilometers in 2022, an increase of 53%. Two, established 285 digital hubs across the country, and also increased the number of digitized government services from 350 in 2022 to 20,985 in 2025 through integration with the e-citizen and mobile platforms, ensuring seamless access for all Kenyans. Seventh, to promote access to reliable and competitive energy, the government has expanded energy generation by installing an additional 167 megawatts of electricity from 3,076 megawatts in 2022 to 3,243 megawatts in 2025. This has enabled connection of 932,839 more customers to electricity. The system peak has increased from 2,149 megawatts of electricity in July 2022 to 2,316 megawatts of electricity in February 2025. The total number of customers connected to electricity has increased to 10 million in 2025 from 8.9 million in 2022. Eighth, to boost education and training outcomes in the country as a tool of creating equality in the society, the government has invested significant resources and implemented radical changes in the education sector. And these include resolving the uncertainty around the competency-based curriculum, CBC, launching of the Kenya Education Management Information System to consolidate all existing student registers from early childhood development to institutions of higher learning into a single centralized database. And 3, rolling out of a new student-focused higher education focusing model with special emphasis for students from vulnerable families. Additionally, in order to improve the teacher-student ratio, the government has recruited 76,000 teachers, including junior secondary school teachers. 9th, to enhance domestic and regional connectivity, boost rural productivity, improve urban informal settlements, and reduce urban congestion, this government has constructed an additional 1,574 kilometers of roads and 129 bridges from 2022 to April 30th, 2025. Further, the government has rehabilitated an additional 212 kilometers of roads and periodically maintained 126,177 kilometers of roads. 10th, the government has also made significant progress in expanding social protection through the Inua Jamii Cash Transfer Program. From 2022 to 2025, the number of households with orphans and vulnerable children receiving support has increased by 65% to 428,421. Additionally, persons living with disabilities registered for support grew by 34% to 59,637. The number of senior citizens aged 70 years and above registered for social protection also rose by 66% to over 1.2 million. These efforts have provided stable incomes to the beneficiaries and reduced their dependency on relatives, enhancing their dignity and quality of life. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, notwithstanding these achievements, we are aware that a lot remains to be done in order to address the pressing challenges facing Kenyans. And Mr. Speaker, in this year's budget-making process, we accorded Kenyans an opportunity to share their views on how to address the economic challenges facing our country. In my various engagements at open barazas and in the media, Kenyans have been very resolute in voicing their concerns that include overtaxation and high cost of living, unemployment, need for protection of the poor and vulnerable, and more importantly, the need to reduce government expenditure and wastage of resources across the national and county governments. Mr. Speaker, I am alive to these domestic challenges facing Kenyans and the external factors such as geopolitical tensions and shifting global trade dynamics that lead to escalation of the cost of essential commodities in the country, requiring comprehensive responses by government. As you may recall, the social unrest precipitated by the Finance Bill of 2024 brought to the fore the importance of values and principles of governance as enshrined in our Constitution. In response and to win public trust, we have strengthened public participation in all policy formulation, including budget-making process. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I have actively engaged Kenyans in various social forums in an effort to promote inclusive dialogue on the challenges facing our economy. And as a result of these consultations, we are focused on the following broad areas. First, easing tax burden on Kenyans by increasing the pool of taxpayers and enhancing tax compliance. In this respect, the ongoing work on the digitization and automation at the Kenya Revenue Authority, in line with the Kenya's medium-term revenue strategy. Thus, all who are able shall henceforth contribute to financing the operations of government and development of our country. Second, to enhance liquidity in the economy and support small businesses, we have started the process of settling pending bills that have been validated, particularly those related to road construction, which has resulted in resumption of road construction projects across the country. Mr. Speaker, the pending bills verification committee will share their final report by the end of June 2025. This report will be analyzed and recommendations tabled in Cabinet for approval, after which we shall embark on the process of clearing the eligible bills, starting with those related to individuals, businesses, and the micro, small, and medium enterprises, majority of whom have borne the brunt of non-payment. Third, promotion of good governance on public finance matters. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans have expressed concerns about the public debt. Indeed, there is a perception of lack of transparency in the management of public debt. In this regard, I requested the Auditor General to conduct a comprehensive audit of public debt. This audit is currently ongoing, and once completed, the report will be shared with this House. Fourth, there has been public perception and concerns in the past that our budgets tend to be unrealistic. To address these concerns, we took a two-pronged approach. First, we adopted the zero-based budgeting, where every budget item has to be justified at the beginning of every financial year. This process was used in the preparation of the financial year 2025-2026 budget, which is the first time it is used, and which budget I submitted to this House on the 30th of April 2025. Second, in response to concerns on unrealistic revenue projections, we have reduced revenue projection to be in line with the trends. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, revenue projections in the financial year 2025-26 budget and over the medium term are consistent with the growth of the economy. Fifth, Mr. Speaker, in order to improve governance in the public procurement process, I launched the e-procurement system on April 7, 2025. And beginning of 1st July 2025, all procurement by ministries, departments, and agencies will be done through the e-procurement system without any exception. This will reduce the opaqueness and save government resources, estimated at 10% of procurable budgets. Sixth, we have taken deliberate efforts to enhance transparency and promote inclusive policy making and deepen public understanding of government economic priorities. We have not only intensified media engagement through the TV stations and radios, but have also engaged the public in open places like Jivanji Garden, Bunge la Mwananchi, and Mombasa County, where we held a meeting at Swahili Port Amphitheatre. Similar engagements have also taken place in other locations in Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, and Nyeri, thereby providing valuable insights and lessons which have been taken into consideration while preparing this budget. Seventh, Mr. Speaker, in order to create additional jobs for the youth, the government has begun rolling out Climate Works, a nationwide program that will engage over 110,000 youth across all 47 counties. The program started last year in Nairobi's informal settlements and has been a great success. Now it is being expanded to the rest of the country. Climate Works is designed as a social support program that gives young people paid work to improve their communities. The youth will help build roads, plant trees, and clean up the environment in their neighborhoods. Thus, through this climate work, the government is not only providing a paycheck to help young people meet their immediate needs, but also offering financial support to help them develop themselves and their families. Indeed, the program enables them to save money and prepare for their next steps, including starting businesses, continuing their education, or finding long-term jobs. I encourage all our youth to register ahead of the registration deadline. Today, Mr. Speaker, having heard Kenyans loud and clear, we have accommodated their diverse concerns in the financial year 2025-2026 budget. And in this regard, this budget provides highlights of the measures the government has taken to stimulate economic recovery, strengthen macroeconomic stability, and enhance resilience of our economy. Mr. Speaker, achieving these strategic objectives will require that we pull in the same direction. It is in this context that His Excellency the President has urged us to put our differences aside, build bridges, and focus on implementation of strategic interventions for a better Kenya. Mr. Speaker, in this respect, the theme for this year's budget is stimulating